Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today we will be continuing the alphabet challenge, which is a series where I am reading a book for every letter in the alphabet. And in this video, we are going to be doing 3 more letters, and that is F, G, and H. Now, I know that my background essentially looks the same to you guys except for maybe a few rearranged books, but I recently moved. So before I actually packed up all my books, I went ahead and picked out the books for this challenge so I could start reading them before I actually moved, so I would have plenty of time to read them and I wouldn't have to dig through boxes and try to find books that started with the specific letters that I will be doing this month. So they're all unpacked now and I have already started some of the books. So the books that I picked out for this challenge are the following. For F, I chose Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Now I picked this book for several reasons. One, it was on my March TBR, and even though I will be reading it in April, that was still a factor at play. Also, this is one of my 25 books to read in 2025. I'm really trying to stay on top of reading all the books on my 25 in 2025, and I think I'm doing pretty good. I've read 2 or 3 each month so far, so this will be adding to my April count for that. And then lastly, one of the biggest reasons I chose this for the letter F is this is one of my only books that starts with F. It was this one, maybe Foul Lady Fortune. Actually, that might be it. Just this one and Foul Lady Fortune. So that narrowed it down considerably. And since this one was on my March TBR and it's also my 25 in 2025, it was kind of a no-brainer choice to choose this one. Now, this is a classic or a modern classic. I don't actually remember which one, but it is about a firefighter who burns books in this dystopian society because books are illegal. And then one day he reads a book and he finds out that maybe he was not doing the right thing by burning all those books, and that's essentially all I know about it so far because again, I haven't started it yet. So yeah, that's the book we're going to be reading for F. Then for G, we are going to be continuing a series that I've already started, and that is Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the second book in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Now, I chose this one for multiple reasons. One, starts with the letter G. That's pretty obvious. And I do have a few other books that start with G on my shelves, but this one is continuing a series, and I'm also trying to be more deliberate about continuing series. And not only am I being deliberate about making sure that I'm continuing series and finishing series, but also I just love series. And so when something is in the middle of a series, I'm definitely going to gravitate it towards it more. Now, this one I have started. This is actually the one that I am the furthest along in. I am very far, actually. I'm on page 273 of this book. I have 100 and some odd pages left of this book, so hopefully I will be finishing this one tonight or tomorrow, but this is the book for G. And then lastly, the book for H that I chose was Happiness for Beginners by Katherine Center. Now, I had other choices for H, and honestly, I kind of regret choosing this one for H before I moved because, as I mentioned in one of my last videos, I have read a lot of romance in the past 2 months, and I'm kind of feeling it in this book. I am not really enjoying myself very much. I feel like I would definitely be enjoying myself more if I wasn't slightly romance averse right now. Nevertheless, I am in the middle of this one. I am 34% of the way through. I'm not actually reading the physical copy. I'm reading it on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited right now. That is Happiness for Beginners. So those are all the books that I'm going to be reading in this vlog. You might have noticed that I'm kind of reading them out of order, and there is an explanation for that. So I think it's time for a little bit of a story time. If you've been keeping up with my videos, then you know that I recently posted an Emily Henry vlog, and that was one of the main reasons why I've read so much romance in the past couple weeks to the past 2 months. And I definitely don't regret reading those books. It was a good time trying to get into the Emily Henry universe, and especially happy that I read Happy Place because that was such a good read, at least in my eyes. But coming off of that, I honestly feel a little bit slumpy, and I don't think it's just necessarily the Emily Henry books' fault, but I have not read any fantasy this month, and fantasy is definitely my bread and butter. It's my absolute favorite, and if I don't read a fantasy in a month, then I don't really have a great reading month. I also just haven't been rating the books that I've read in March super highly. With that being said, I'm definitely feeling a little slumpy, and that's really hard for me to do. It just doesn't happen to me. I have no problem pushing through a book. I don't have to mood read. I like to mood read, but I don't have to in order to enjoy a book. But right now, I'm definitely feeling it, and I'm not gonna lie, Happiness for Beginners is not helping my book slump at all. Like I said, it's mostly because it's romance, but I also am just really not vibing with the main characters in this book. I think the male main character is a little bit juvenile. Now, he's supposed to be a little bit juvenile because there is an age gap. I think he's going to come across juvenile in the beginning and then slowly come across as more mature as the book goes on. But my main problem with this book, honestly, is the main female character. Her name is Helen, and if you don't know what this book is about, it's about a couple who, that's not right at all. It's about this woman who kind of feels like she's in a slump in life, and so she signs up for this really intense hiking trip, and she's just determined that at the end of this she's going to be a brand new person. And along the way, her little brother's best friend tags along or also signs up for this really intense hiking trip, and over the course of this really intense hiking trip they fall in love. That's the main gist of the book. It's a contemporary romance, so obviously they fall in love. Haven't gotten to that part yet. The main thing that I really don't like about Helen is that, like, she just hasn't seemed to actually think anything through. Like, this girl signed up for this really hard hiking expedition, one where people have actually died on this course. It's not really a course, but in the middle of the mountains. This girl hates being outside. She doesn't train at all. She's never hiked a day in her life. She doesn't have any supplies. She doesn't have hiking boots. She doesn't even like think about the fact that she's not gonna have that many changes of clothing, or that she's gonna have to go to the bathroom in the woods, or she's not gonna have access to a shower. So the night before this hiking trip, she's like freaking out because she's like, what the heck am I doing here? And I'm like, yes, exactly. What are you doing? You need to go home. Like, this is not a good idea. It's like she didn't read the pamphlet before she signed up for this thing. All that to say, I'm having a little bit of difficulty with this book. It's a little bit surprising because I read Hello Stranger by Katherine Center in February, and I really enjoyed that book. In fact, I gave it like a 4.5 or 4.75 stars. Like, I really enjoyed that book. So I was really expecting to like this one a little bit more than I am. That's where I'm at with Happiness for Beginners. So working backwards on the book that I'm actually doing the best in so far in this challenge is Good Girl, Bad Blood. Like I said, this is the second book in a Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I actually like this one more than I liked the first one. I don't know if it's because of the actual storyline or if it's because I'm used to the character or Holly Jackson's style of writing now, but I personally am really enjoying this book a lot more. I love the mystery aspect of this book. Now, I do have to say, it's not necessarily helping with the book slump in the ways that I was hoping that it would, with it being a mystery, but I think it's because it's a thriller that I'm not really vibing with it. But I've very rarely rated a thriller highly, and I think that's just a preference of genre. Nothing against this book. I actually think that this series is really good. So if you like mysteries and thrillers, I would definitely recommend this series to give a go. So that's where I'm at with this one. Like I said, I'm really hoping to finish this book tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Now, we're kind of going backwards on this vlog. We're starting with H and then going to F. But after I finish either Happiness for Beginners or Good Girl's Guide to Murder, then I'm going to start Fahrenheit 451. Because I was feeling slumpy, I did not pick this book up first because I really want to enjoy this book, and I think I have the potential for thinking that this book is really cool. So I didn't want to start it when I was in a slump. I wanted to start it when I was out of a slump, or at least coming out of a slump, in order to give it a pretty fair shot. So that is why we are starting this book last. From this summary, this is giving a little bit of 1984 vibes for me, so I'm hoping those vibes continue because I really did enjoy 1984 by George Orwell when I read it a couple years ago. We will be getting to this one soon, but for now, let's continue reading A Good Girl's Guide. No, that is not the name of the book. Good Girl, Bad Blood. It has been probably a day or two since I've last given you guys an update, and in that time I've completed both Good Girl Bad Blood and Happiness for Beginners. We're gonna start with Good Girl Bad Blood because that is the one I finished first. You guys saw my reactions to the end of this book. Holly Jackson writes really good mysteries. Now, with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I was completely blindsided by the plot twist in that book, and with this one, I was blindsided by 50% of the plot twist. And I don't know if it's because I've already been introduced to the characters and I didn't have to get to know them again, but I actually really enjoyed Good Girl Bad Blood a little bit more than A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I think the other part of it is I just liked the mystery of this one more than I liked the mystery in the first one. Anyway, that is Good Girl Bad Blood. I gave this one, I don't actually remember. That's what Goodreads is for. Okay. I gave this one 4 stars. Then last night, in the middle of the night, because I couldn't sleep, I finished Happiness for Beginners by Katherine Center. Now, I had shared a few grievances with you guys about Happiness for Beginners in the initial introduction clip, and those didn't necessarily go away. But at the base of this is a grumpy sunshine romance, and in this case it's the girl that's grumpy, which is pretty rare. Usually it's the guy that's grumpy, but I think I've just come to the conclusion that grumpy sunshine just doesn't work for me. I don't like it with the male being grumpy, I don't like it with the female being grumpy. And honestly, if I had known that this was a grumpy sunshine-ish trope going into it, it probably would have helped me a little bit with my expectations about what this was going to feel like, because it's just one of those tropes that doesn't work well for me, and so I probably would have tempered my expectations a little bit. But as it was, I gave this one like a 3.25, I think. I just don't think I'm gonna really think about this romance again. It wasn't bad. I did enjoy most of my reading experience once I got a little bit more into like the meat of the story. So that is my update for these two so far. Now, with that being said, that means that we only have one book left. In the funky fashion of this video, we are reading the book that I should have read first last. So let me grab it. I have my April TBR over here, and let me tell you, it's a little bit ambitious. Anyway, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I did not start this book initially, as you guys know, because I was feeling a little bit slumpy. Now, despite the fact that I only gave Happiness for Beginners 3.25 stars, that book actually kind of helped out with my slump a little bit. So I'm not going to say that I'm out of my slump-ish type thing completely, but I do feel recovered enough that we can start Fahrenheit 451 and I can be excited about it. That is very encouraging, at least for me. I'm going to start this book today, and I will keep you guys updated on how I like it. A classic is exactly what I need right now because I've read so many different genres in the past couple months. Okay, I'm excited. I'm gonna get started reading on this, and I will check in with you guys in a little bit. I have made significant progress in Fahrenheit 451. I am this far in. I'm on page 98, and from what you can tell, it looks like I'm almost halfway through the book. But if you look to the actual end of the story and you ignore all the bonus content that's in the back because it's the 65th anniversary edition, then this is all bonus content, and this is what I have left of the story. There's only 158 pages in the story. So I think after I give this little update, I'm just going to sit down and just finish this book and give you my final thoughts on it. But as far as my a little over halfway-ish update for you guys, I am thoroughly enjoying this book. It's kind of giving me 1984 vibes. Instead of Big Brother watching you all the time, think about the entertainment industry distracting you enough that you don't care about anything else, rather than the government enforcing it. Does that make sense? But the basic story I kind of already told you guys about before. It's about a firefighter, and their job in this society is to burn books and burn down the entire houses of people who own books, not to put out fires at all. They don't put out fires at all. And they have changed a lot of information of what they want the dystopian society to look like. And any books that they do have that are legal are like manuals of some kind that enforce the history that they're trying to tell. And none of them are fiction. Everything is nonfiction. So our main character's name is Guy, but people call him Montag because that's his last name. I don't want to tell too much of what happens in the story story because it's a very short story, and so it would be really easy to give spoilers even though I'm only in the first 100 pages because I'm almost done. It's more like a novella than it is a full book, honestly. Basically right now he's at the point where he's having to decide what he's going to do, and so we're kind of going on that journey with him, but apparently the journey's pretty short. I will give you guys my final rating and update when I finish this. Right now I'm thinking it's probably going to be 4 point something question mark star right now because I'm really enjoying it. It's just flying by. I'm going to sit down and finish the last 50 or so pages, and I will give you guys a final update when I'm done. Montage is losing it a little bit. I have officially finished Fahrenheit 451. Now, I finished this a couple days ago and I gave myself a few days to really think about how I enjoyed the book and what my thoughts on it are. And I honestly really think this is one of my favorite classics that I've ever read. And there's multiple reasons for that. I love any sort of dystopian story or literature. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I grew up in 2010s at the height of the dystopian era where everything was Divergent, Hunger Games, etc. But I just love a good dystopian story. But I also really loved the premise of this book and how we saw Guy slowly dissolve into madness because of the situations that he was in and the thoughts and philosophies that were being thrown at him, and how he just like suddenly realized that they didn't really make sense and that he couldn't trust them. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And on top of that, this book is only, I think it's only like 158 pages in this specific edition at least. So you could very feasibly sit down one afternoon and read this entire thing. So that part was really fun because it was a really speedy read, but it also kept you really engaged. There's not a ton of world building, there's not a ton of backstory, and things happen very quickly because they have to. It's only 158 pages long, but it's such a good story. I really loved it. This gave me the exact same feeling and vibe that 1984 by George Orwell gave me. I really enjoyed 1984 as well. This is also one of my favorite classics that I've ever read. Although of course their writing styles are not the same because they're not the same author, the vibes was definitely the same, and part of that was because of the dystopianness of it all and the control of the government. So if you're intimidated to get into this, then I would read Fahrenheit 451 first and just kind of like catch the vibes a little bit, because definitely 1984 is more intense than Fahrenheit 451. The ending of this one really caught me off guard. That was not what I expected to happen at the very end of the book, but it was intriguing. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I highly recommend this book. I'm so happy that I read this book not only this year, but specifically early in the year, because this was such a great time. Highly recommend this as a classic. So these are all the books that we read in this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I think next time I'm going to continue this series by doing a reading challenge with the next couple letters, so stay tuned for that one. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and if you don't know what to comment down below, either comment what you are reading right now or what's your favorite book with either a red or orange cover. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.